The first game that we're going to talk about in regards to props and betting this week, it's the Buccaneers-Falcons. The NFC South, what's going on? Right? Like, we don't know who's going to win that thing. Everybody has a chance, I guess. There's 3 teams who have a chance, but no one's grabbing the horn. So Buccaneers 5-7, Falcons 6-6. Falcons favoring this game 1.5. The over/under is 41. Moneyline Atlanta 130. Minus 130, Tampa Bay plus 110. Dev, I'll start with you. Who do you think's going to win this game?
I don't like. It's really hard, this game for me, and I think the spread reflects that. It's basically a pick'em. My gut tells me that the Falcons, they beat the Bucs back in week 7, only by 3 points. I think they can get another win. I think they won, and they still, there's, as you mentioned, the NFC South, there's a lot on the line here. They won last week, and they still didn't play their best football at all. Mm-hmm. If you look at their offensive numbers, it's like, how did they even, like what is going on? Because it's very low. Like, Desmond Ridder, even Bijan Robinson didn't get a lot going. But their pass defense is really good, and I think because of that, they can hold this Bucs offense, Baker Mayfield, to low numbers, low points total. So I think the Falcons can pull out a win. If they continue to run the ball, get Bijan a lot more, active in this game than they did last week, I think I like the Falcons.
Okay. What do you like, B Brooks?
I think I'm going to go the opposite this time. I think Tampa Bay just has a chip on their shoulder right now. And the only reason I say that because I like Rashad White, 60.5. To me, it's like, just like you said, it's really a pick'em, but they are playing in the dome. You know what I'm saying? So it's really hard for me to really pick who's going to be good, but I just like Rashad White and his rushing total. I like, what he brings to the offense. They still have not found Kyle Pitts yet. Drake London. Come on now, 47.5. It's easy. I want to really go with the under with 35.5 with Kyle Pitts, but I think I'm gonna stay off the props on Atlanta's side. I think I'm just gonna go with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. 48.5 with Chris Godwin. Mike Evans, I'm gonna go 76.5, even with their pass defense, but I'm still gonna go with them. So in turn, I'm gonna go with the Falcons to lose, and the Bucs to win, at least cover with 1.5.
I have on the other side, I like Bijan Robinson over 69.5 rushing yards. Falcons offense, like I mentioned, did not look great last week. The Bucs just gave up 2 touchdowns and over 100 yards to Chuba Hubbard last week. So
what?
Yeah. So could be a good sign for guys on the ground for the Falcons if you want to take those overs.
Oh.
Unless, you do risk the opposite happening where the Bucs are like, okay, that was embarrassing. Like, we need to fix that.
Yeah. That's always a shot. I got the Falcons. I'm with Dad on this one. The Bucs have been, bad. All right, they lost. They lost 2 of their last 3, and the game they won was against the Panthers by 3. It's what? Is that what we're talking about? Meanwhile, the Falcons have won their last 2. They played some good football. I know they just beat the Jets after that, but before that, they beat the Saints 24-15. I like Bijan Robinson, like you said, to have a big day and go over on his yardage. Even Desmond Ridder to throw for 200 yards and a touchdown in this game. I think the Falcons. I like them in this game. I like them to win this game. Again, Baker Mayfield hasn't been making enough plays as of late. And I'll ask you guys this may be the perfect opportunity, depending on who you think you wins this game. Maybe you double this bet up. NFC South division winner, right?
Like winner plus the division winner?
Yes, because Falcons are favored in this division, favored in the division minus 175. The Bucs plus 350, the Saints plus 375. If you have the Bucs, unless you want to bet on the Saints, but if you have the Bucs in this game or the Falcons in this game, why not double that bet up? Like, Falcons is only minus 175, but I like them winning this game. If they win this game, they're winning the division easily. Because they've beaten the Falcons and they'll beat the Bucs, and they just beat the Saints 2 weeks ago. So that's the bet I'm betting on. Falcons win this game and division winner minus 175. Pair that 2 together. Because whoever you think. They don't lock it up, but they're going to have a stranglehold on it because they got victories over their divisional opponents.
Have they played the Saints twice or just once so far?
I think it has been twice because...
No, the Falcons played the Saints the last game of the season.
Oh, they do?
Yeah. So they've only played them once.
No, they played the.
Yeah, and they've already beat the Bucks earlier this season, winning 16-13. Right.
Dang, this division is really a mid-off. Like Falcons lead 6-6, Bucks 5-7, Saints 5-7.
And I want to say the Falcons are undefeated in their division. So they would get the tiebreaker. Let me make sure that's correct. But the Falcons so far are 3-0 in their division. So they're going to get any tiebreaker. They're the only team that's 6-6. They're a game up on the Bucks and the Saints. They're 3-0 in the division. Again, I would pick the Falcons to win this game, and I would pick the Falcons to win the division.
I'm still going with Bucks to win this game, but I'm gonna go with the Falcons to win the division.
Falcons to win this division?
Yeah, I think they'll win the division.
On top of that, offensive rookie of the year is going to be C.J. Stroud. I was about to say, bro. We had arguments about Bijan potentially being that, but that thing ain't even close at this point. So those are the things that you would go out. But again, we'll talk about the Saints later. And would y'all change who gets home field advantage? They're going to get a home game, the winner of the NFC South. And this has been talked about for a long time.
Like the way the league organizes?
If you win your division, you make the playoffs. Yeah. Do you think that team should continue to get a home game in the first wild card round?
I think so. I mean, they're not historically bad as this division has been. So I think it should stay that way. I mean, teams should not be that bad. We got so much parity in the league right now, and for the worst teams to be in that division is just crazy. I don't understand it. When I played, the Saints were good, Atlanta was good, the Bucks were good. In fact, was it one Super Bowl and two Super Bowls when I was playing there. The Saints and the Bucks won Super Bowls back when I was playing.
It's been but the last 10 years, I don't know. Would you change it or would you keep it?
I don't know about home field advantage, but it kind of goes into like how it's just by division, and no matter what, like you look at these divisions that just aren't that competitive compared to the NFC East. You have the Eagles and the Cowboys. You have like the AFC. You just have a lot of like you have the Bills and the Chiefs in the same division. Like I just think that this league has a lot of parity, but it's not there when it comes to certain divisions, and maybe fixing that somehow. But I also don't know the solution. Like you'd have to literally completely like upheave the whole entire playoff format, and I don't think anyone would be okay with that.
Bears. Lions 9-3 bounce back from a horrible Thanksgiving day to get a win dominantly. Now they're facing the Bears, who are 4-8. The Lions favored in this game, 3.5. Over under is 43. B. Brooks, how you feeling about this one?
I mean, the Bears really had their shot. They should have won the last game they played against each other. Fourth quarter. I mean, how do you let a team come back? What was it, 21 points?
Yeah, it was a lot. Like I would say, I feel like the last time they played, it was like 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
I feel like it was more of a Bears collapse than a Lions win, honestly.
Yep. And the last 3 weeks, the Bears have just been playing. I mean, the Lions have just been playing okay, but this, they are playing the Bears, and there is a possibility that it could be an upset. Just because you got a young quarterback in Fields who's feeling himself and wants to be a weapon. So, I still don't think they'll beat the Lions. I'm gonna go with 3.5. Lions win. And as far as betting, I'm gonna go with tight ends. Laporta, 45.5. I'm gonna go, with him. Another Iowa tight end. Them Iowa tight ends. All of them. Kittle, all those guys have been doing well in the standings. So I'm gonna go with him. I'm gonna also go with rushing with David Montgomery, 59.5. I'm gonna stay away from Gibbs a little bit. I'm gonna stay away from him, but
Why are you staying away from him?
I just don't see him. It's a lot of these rookies, I'm gonna stay away from a lot of the rookies. We put it like that, a lot of the rookies, because they're hitting the walls right now. And when you hit that rookie wall, it's hard to get that production. But David Montgomery's probably gonna get the major bulk of the reps from this point on, because they can trust him. They played with him. So I'm gonna go with Laporta. And I'm gonna go with Kmet also, 31.5 receiving yards. Laporta.
That's one of my best bets too.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with the tight ends this game.
Love it. I think that this game is major potential to be an upset, and I am kind of rooting for the Bears to beat the Lions just because the way that everything went down just 3 weeks ago between these two. Like, the Bears won that game. Mm-hmm. They just kind of collapsed in the end. I mean, Goff threw 3 interceptions that game. Justin Fields ran for over 100 yards, but fun fact, whenever he runs for over 100 yards, Chicago's 0-5.
Oh, get out of here!
Yeah.
That's a great stat.
Isn't that interesting?
That's a great stat.
Wow.
Yeah, so,
I would have never thought that.
Hopefully he doesn't do that if they want to get a win. I love Kolkmet over, what's the number, 31.5. Yep. He's averaging over 40 yards per game. Justin Fields loves getting the ball to him. So you know what? I'm going to be a contrarian here, and I'm going to go with the Bears covering that 3.5 point spread.
Oh.
Covering.
I don't know.
Winning.
I don't know if I'm going to go with win.
Sure. Okay.
I mean, 3.5, like, sure. If there's more value in the money line, go with the money line.
It's tight. Tight. I got the Bears winning this game. It's upset city. The Detroit Lions are leaking defensively. A lot of car references this show by me, but I don't know why. But the Lions have been leaking defensively. They haven't been a very good defensively at all, right?
No,
Let's look at their last 4 games. They won against the Saints, but they let up 28 points. They lost against the Packers, let up 29 points. Mm-hmm. They lost against they got that win against the Bears. Bears were let up 26, and the game before that, Chargers, they let up 38. The offense has been getting ran through. Meanwhile, Justin Fields has secretly over the last 2 months had one of the best quarterback ratings in the entire league. In 3 of his last 5 games, he's had a quarterback rating of over 100.
What?
In the other game, it was 87. So he's only had 1 poor quarterback rated game. Justin Fields has played, again, that offense hasn't been necessarily explosive the way you want it to be explosive, but Justin Fields has played pretty good football. So I think the Bears matched.
Is that just a Curb Your Enthusiasm reference?
It was. I'm glad you got that. I'm glad you got that.
Yeah, but you didn't really sell the.
I didn't sell it because I wasn't gonna go for it, but it was still in my head. So I think the Bears are going to be able to score in this game. I think they're going to be able to do what they want. They almost beat them last time, as you said. They got Montez Sweat, who's going to cause some pressures for Jared Goff. Right, so their defense is a little bit better now. Again, I know they didn't score a lot of points last week, but I can see them getting it done. So I like Justin Fields in this game. I like DJ Moore to get his numbers to go over. What is it, 67? I'm going 67.5. Again, I don't think Justin Fields is gonna have to run and get those 100 yards, so I'm gonna count out that stat, but it'll still go for over 40
well,
in my opinion. So I love it, and I still would go Sam Laporta.
You got to, man,
because he's been balling. Every time I picked him, he's won for me. So I'm gonna go Sam Laporta for his over on 45.5. So I do like that. So I think this game is gonna have a bunch of points, but I think the Lions actually win this game something like 30-26.
Well, you don't like Jared Goff rushing?
Wait,
yards?
the Lions or the Bears?
Excuse me, Bears.
Okay.
Bears.
I was like, wait, you just reversed everything you just said.
I know. I think the Bears win 30-26.
Are we still believers in like the Jared Goff can't play outside theories? I feel like maybe this season he's kind of proven those wrong.
Yeah.
But it's going to be cold. It's not going to be rainy, at least not as of now in Chicago, but still playing outside Soldier Field could be a factor.
Well, I got him for 1.5 rushing yards.
1.5. Wow.
Sneaky bet. 1.5 rushing yards.
Hey, listen.
And I'm also going to go with Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Okay.
72.5 receiving.
Yeah.
He is playing out of his mind. He might be one of the top 5 receivers in the league right now.
And let me, before we move on, I'll give a stat that our producer Kevin has given to me. Last 4 games that DJ Moore has played with Justin Fields, 114 yards, 96 yards, 230, 131.
Wow.
Justin Fields finds him. So to me, that 67.5 is easy money. Let's go to the next game. Colts Bengals. Bengals got a win last week. Somehow, some way. Obviously because, partly because who is it? Trevor Lawrence went out. But still, they were close in that game the entire game. Taking on the Colts 7-5. Again, Colts in the playoff picture with Gardner Minshew. Bengals favored in this game, 1.5 over under 44. Money line, Cincinnati 120, minus 120, Indy plus 100. Dev, start with you. What are you thinking in this one?
I'm surprised the Bengals are favorites in this one, honestly.
Me too.
I really am too.
But I also feel like the Colts are almost like surprised with their own success this season. Like, I don't know if they expected Gardner Minshew to be able to take the team to an above 500 record. I think the Colts are going to win this one, though. I think the Bengals were fueled by, backup quarterback. We have to rise to the occasion. We can't just let this season be a wash. We have to, do it for Joey B. Plus, Trevor Lawrence went out in that game. I don't know if they would have won necessarily had he not. I just think the Colts are the better team. The Colts' run defense was their soft spot last week. They allowed Derrick Henry to get over 100 rush yards, but they have Grover Stewart back in the lineup. He was suspended for PEDs, I believe. But he's really good at stopping the run, and I think that's a massive advantage for them defensively. I just think the Colts have more momentum to go off than the Bengals do right now.
Well, I mean, I think the Cincinnati. The reason why I think they are going with Cincinnati is because they like Jake Browning. They believe in Jake Browning. And they got T. Higgins back. I feel like this is such a classic overreaction. Like, it's a backup quarterback comes in and plays one good game, and then everyone's like, oh, my God, he's amazing. Yes,
and then he comes out and lays an egg the next game. Like, I just don't think that it's worthy of an overreaction like that yet.
Yes, Joshua Dobbs
of
the world.
Yeah, we stopped talking about him real quick.
Right. He lost me that bet, and I was like, I'm done.
Right. But, I think I'm going to go with the Colts, too. Gardner Minshew is more than just, he's what he is what he is. He's like his own little avenue because he's not a starter, but he's not necessarily a backup. And he's in that middle ground where he'll be a great backup and an average starter. So he'll never be paid he's not going to get the $200 million contract, but he'll be sticking around making $10 million a year as one of those guys right in the middle that he can play. And I like him, and he finds Michael Pittman. That's why I'm going with Michael Pittman, 74.5 yards receiving. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with them winning, and I'm going with the points also. So I'm going with the money line. So I'm going to go with the Colts. And, like I said, T. Higgs is back. And they only have 37.5 receiving yards. That's easy money. Now that he's back. Not T. Higgins, but now that, you look at Alec Pierce. That's his name, Alec Pierce, 29.5. He's like 6'4", 200 pounds, 210-pound receiver, and 29.5 yards receiving. Come on, man. He showed out the last game he played in. So yeah, I think he'll find him. He'll find Pittman, and he'll find Pierce, and it'll be they'll have a field day against that Bengals defense.
Jake Brown in last game went 32 for 37, 354 yards.
You really think he's gonna do that again?
No.
But the Bengals pass defense also gave up 321 yards.
Yeah, but I did. No, that's why I'm taking the Colts. I'm still taking the Colts. Like Jake has played well, by the way, against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That game he went 19 for 26, 227, a TD. So he's played solidly, but the Colts are on a winning streak. The Colts have won their last 4 in a row. The Colts have been playing really well. A solid team again. Gardner Minshew, I think I may have said it last week. He's the guy that sets you up. He sets up the next quarterback.
Yep.
Right? So come on in, set things up. We can win some games with you, and we can go to the not playoffs, but we can, figure some things out with you while you're there.
Alex Pierce with Gardner Minshew last week, 3 receptions, 100 yards. 3 receptions, 100 yards. So, yeah.
So I'm going there. I'm going Zach Moss. Also to go. It's 73.5. It's a lot, but they're going to lean on him. So I like Zach Moss to get his over. Yep. I like Gardner Minshew. I wouldn't go 230, but I'm going to go on alternative 200 yards in the touchdown. And I think the Colts win this game out. I could see it being close with the Bengals, but I think they win out. Next game, Jaguars-Browns. Jaguars. Before last week, they were number one in the they had the tiebreaker for number one in the entire AFC. They lose a game, and now you're dealing with Trevor Lawrence and whatever Trevor Lawrence is going to be for the rest of the season, right? Like Trevor Lawrence may not be Trevor Lawrence again, right? He may play, but what's he going to be with that ankle? What type of level he's going to get to? Taking on the Browns, 7-5. Again, another team without a quarterback, without their starting quarterback. You don't know who you're going to get week to week. It could be the second stringer. It could be the third stringer. But they're fighting because their defense is number one in a lot of categories throughout the league. And that's why the Browns are favored right now in this game by 3. Now, that can change depending on, Trevor Lawrence. But we don't know if he's playing. Game time decision. Barrett, we'll start with you. What do you think on this one?
I'm thinking that I wouldn't even touch the Jaguars offense because this Browns defense is still, tops in the league. And either, of course, if you get the backup quarterback, they can rush the passer. They have, great secondary. They're not going to allow their, second team guy to do anything. And then if they do play, the starter, I mean, you really want to put your guy out there with those horses on, rushing the passer like that? You just wouldn't do it. So I would go with the Browns on that. I would go with rushing props for, their running backs also. It'll be a down and dirty game. And we don't know anything about any of the props because we don't know who's starting for either team at the quarterback position. Mm-hmm. But you can always rely on the running game of the Browns to go out there and make things happen. So I'm going to go with Browns and their rushing props.
Oh, you don't go with the Browns to win this game?
Yes.
We just don't know. What do you think, Dev?
I think I'm going to go with the Jags.
Ooh.
I know. Unpopular opinion. So the Browns defense, I do worry about the Browns defense now wanting to have a bounce back game because they didn't really do much of anything.
Nothing.
So I could see that, fueling them, especially playing at home. The Jags are undefeated on the road this season. I know the Browns are 5-1 at home. Like, it honestly is a very even matchup when you really look at it, especially considering neither team really has a quarterback. I just think the Jags have more playmakers than the Browns do on offense. And I think because of that, they can put up more points. No matter how good the Browns defense is, the Jags just have more options to get the ball to, not at quarterback, but to spread the ball around to on offense. And because of that, I think they can ultimately put up more points, get the win.
Yeah, but it's such a tough one. Like, I believe what you're saying. I also believe what Barrett's saying.
Oh, you can convince me of the Browns in like 30 seconds too. Like, I keep going back and forth, but just looking at it, maybe it's because I want to root for Doug Peterson. I don't know.
I'm with you on that one. C.J. Beathard played well when he was in the game with 9 for 10, I believe, 64 yards. So he played well. So. Hey, but again, it's the backup quarterback. You don't know how much you're going to get or how long you're going to get it. That's the reason why he's the backup quarterback. So whatever the running back for Travis Etienne and Jerome Ford, those are two individuals I'm hammering to go over their marks. Whoa. Right? Those individuals are going to get the rock because they're, again, the Browns, they want to run a rock because their quarterback
it's also
situation.
Like all they can do.
Yeah, that's all they could do.
Also, didn't Amari Cooper, isn't he in concussion protocol?
Yes,
I don't know
is.
if he's,
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he is.
So, like, receiving wise.
Yeah.
It's pretty bleak for the Browns right now.
That's what I'm saying. You get all Russian problems,
Your boy Travis Etienne.
Well, yeah, but
get it.
He'll get it. But I'm just saying, like, little things like, their starting left tackle is out. Jacksonville's starting left tackle's out. Little is out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just another fault that they have. They've been playing well. But then you look at Evan Ingram, tight ends. It's hard for me not to pick a great tight end, and he's like a receiver. He lines up like a run blocker. Can't run block worth a damn, but still he's out there.
With that said, if I had to go with somebody, I guess I'll go with the Browns, just because they're used to not having their starting quarterback this entire season.
That's true.
So
That's
they know it's like
They're
this is a muck it up. We're gonna muck it up, and we're gonna have that type of game, and we're used to it. As opposed to Jacksonville got to change how they play and what they do in their game plan, and they may have to adjust. Yeah, C.J. Beathard. All right, listen, this is a game. This is a game that pisses me off because betting wise, they've been pissing me off for a long time.
Yeah.
The Rams, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua. I can
you
never
just
get
hate
it right.
Cooper Kupp.
I do. He's lost me
not personally.
Not personally. I hate him. He's lost me so many bets this year because I don't understand what he is this year. Yeah. Right? It's been him and Puka, and then they'll take turns, or then they'll have a game where I think it was neither one of them did anything.
Yeah.
But everybody else gets the rock. I'm like, what are we doing here? Okay. But yeah, they've pissed me off so far. The Rams 6-6, all of a sudden looking like they could be a playoff team, while the Ravens 9-3 trying to hold down the number 1 seed and get the number 1 seed in the AFC. Ravens favored in this game by 7.5. It's at Baltimore. Over under is 40.
No, don't even ask who's gonna win that game. Come on, man.
You don't think?
No, not even close.
You don't think the Rams have a chance?
I think Puka Nacua is out. I think he's out. Isn't he out? He got dragged off the field the last game he played in.
I know, but
I don't know if he's even playing.
I know, but
I didn't hear he was definitely out, but I also agree with Barrett. First of all, don't you feel like it's been like months since we've seen the Ravens play? I don't know why it feels like it's been so long.
They haven't played in games we care about.
That's
in a while,
true. That's true.
It's like whatever. But guys, all right, before y'all go, listen. We all respect the Cleveland Browns defense. They hang 36 on them.
Yeah.
They hung 36 on the Rams defense. Matt Stafford, 279, 3 touchdowns, no picks. 120 on the ground.
Bruh.
No. Dad looked at me like, okay.
No.
I don't care about anything you just said.
No.
I wasn't sure if Bear was going to jump in or not.
Okay,
right.
my bad.
No. I mean, the Ravens defense they're just too stacked right now. I mean, come on, man. Are you kidding me?
Okay. All right. So you already think they're going to win. What else do you like?
Do you think they're going to cover the spread, Barrett?
I think they are going to cover the spread.
You do? See, 7.5 is pretty high for me. So I don't know if I would go with the Ravens plus the spread. I do think the Ravens are going to win. I could see the Rams potentially covering and making it a close game because their offense has been, rolling lately. I'm sorry, not Cooper Kupp. A lot of it does
36 yards. 36 yards last week.
Yeah,
Thanks,
not
Cooper.
great. Not great.
But
Puka had 105. Kyron Williams had 88. He's had 88 or more yards in 4 of his last 5 games. But the Ravens defense, first in points allowed per game, top 10 in third down, first in rating allowed to opposing quarterbacks, first in yards per attempt. I just think that Matthew Stafford and that Rams offense doesn't stand a chance.
Yeah,
and they're traveling.
Yeah, Jadeveon Clowney coming off the edge. You got Patrick McQueen. You got Roquan Smith. I mean, those guys. I mean, that's a tough defense to go against. So I mean, I'm going with the points also. And also look at this. Anytime you have Cooper Kupp and it's 47.5 receiving yards. Now the bettors are even knowing that he just doesn't have it anymore. He just ain't got it. He just ain't got it, man. So they finally came to what I've been saying for a little bit now. That Cooper Kupp, I think he's kind of out of it now. He doesn't have that juice he used to have before. So
okay.
What do you have?
I mean, I have the Ravens. I'm too chicken. To pick the Rams. I'm not going to tell y'all right now. I'm too chicken to do so. I think the Ravens will win the game, but I think the Rams will be close. I think the Rams cover. Again, I'm going to stay away.
Make it closer.
I'm going to stay away from the bet either way in regards to who wins and who covers. But
so
I think they would
props?
cover. In my head, it would be a cover. So, but prop rise, Matthew Stafford again over under 202. I'm going over, dog. I know the Ravens defense has played well, but the Ravens defense hasn't played no real offense over the last couple of weeks. They beat the Chargers, which I understand only let up 10 points. But the Chargers, we've seen what the Chargers been doing, right? They haven't been able to ball, right? The Bengals, the Browns.
Oh, well, I'm going. I mean, look at though. With Andrews bringing out, I like Isaiah Likely. I think he's going to step in and fill Andrews' shoes well. And the 34.5 in receiving. Come on now, he'll get that easily. Playing in Andrews' spot, and then you got to look at Odell. 34.5. They're going to have to go to him. They're going to have to.
Yeah. I like Gus Edwards in this game, too.
Yeah.
I like over for Keaton Mitchell and Gus Edwards. Because Rams' rush defense is not – well, they're actually pretty good at stopping mobile quarterbacks. So I don't know if I'm going to take Lamar's over rush yards, but they're allowing 4.2 yards per carry to running backs. So.
Yeah. Gus Edwards, 36.5.
Yeah.
I think that's a solid bet also.
And he's pretty consistent in his – it's not like other teams that we talk about on here. Bijan Robinson, Travis Etienne, where it's like 100 yards than nothing.
Yeah. So, again, this is a scary game to me. A game that I think is going to be one of the 3 best games that are to actually watch this week.
Right.
Texans-Jets. Zach Wilson, back in the lineup. And again, I want to tell you, I visit my parents in North Jersey all the time, so it's half New York radio, half Philly radio, and they were killing Zach Wilson because the rumors were that he was like, I don't want to play.
What?
There was a report. I forget the ESPN reporter's name. Excuse me. I apologize for that. But she said in the report that a player said he wasn't trying to go back in. And Robert Salah had a press conference and talked about those reports and said, as far as I know, he wants the ball in his hands at all times. We're just not ready to do so yet. And 2 days later, he goes, Zach Wilson's is starting. So, Rob, he's flip-flopped with him in regards to Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson, probably just not liking his situation with the Jets. It's the quarterback situation's all over the place. So it was interesting listening to all the reports in New York about Zach Wilson, and everyone hates Zach Wilson. But he's starting this week against the Houston Texans. The Texans obviously favored in this game by 3.5. Low over under 33. Dev, I'll start with you.
33. That's really low. That's really, really low. I mean, I'm surprised that this spread isn't bigger. Like, I think Houston's going to crush the Jets just because CJ Stroud and that offense seem to have been rolling, and Zach Wilson and his offense haven't been able to do much. I get the Jets defense is still really good. They do still have some strengths, and I know we focus on the Jets offense and their lack of ability to do really anything, but their pass defense is holding wide receivers to low ratings. They're still top of the league. The Texans won't have Tank Dell, but I just think that CJ Stroud
out, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh man.
But they still have Nico Collins, they still have CJ Stroud at quarterback, Devin Singletary.
Dalton Schultz, I think, is out also.
I think he's back.
Is he back
He's
now?
supposed to be.
If
I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure he's supposed to be back this week. So yeah.
I love my tight ends now.
I know. I love tight end props as well. So definitely taking Dalton Schultz props, Devin Singletary. I think they're going to run the ball a lot more this game, but I like the Texans winning.
And Dalton Schultz returned from hamstring this week. Says he's excited to play.
You got to go back with him. So you got to go with any of his stats. You're right. I mean, looking at it, I just think that this Texas team is more confident than what's going on. There's a rift right now in New York. There's a rift. The defense absolutely hates the offense now. They hate Wilson. So I can't see these guys going out there and really doing anything. Garrett Wilson. I mean, come on, he's a number one receiver and only have his props at 54.5. That's a travesty. That just goes to show how bad his quarterback play stinks. Mm-hmm. So 54.5, I'd still go with it. And man, Wilson, they are mad they picked him up 3 years ago. They can't wait to trade him or do whatever they can do with him. And it'll be a team like the Rams that'll pick him up. And try to make him into a quarterback.
And I'll say to him, we ain't big fans of Aaron Rodgers over here, but Aaron Rodgers is also publicly singing his Zach Wilson's praises and says he doesn't deserve some of the criticism that he's been getting. That he's been a good kid and a hardworking kid so far this year. So, he defended Zach Wilson. Now that doesn't mean he can play.
What does that have to do with X and O's though? Yeah,
that doesn't mean he can play. But it looks like Zach Wilson's head is in the right place according to Aaron Rodgers. Again, I think we're all on the Texans. That's easy money. But CJ Stroud, I'm surprised. I know the Jets defense and how good they are, but his over under is 215.5. I think he goes over. I understand how good the Jets are, but see, they like to throw it out. They like to throw it all over the yard. They like to throw it all over the field, and that Jets defense consistently gets tired. Because their offense can't do anything.
Day, yeah.
So the levees will break at some point, and I think the Texans will be able to score and put up more yards than 215. So I like CJ Stroud to go over 215 a lot in this game.
Yep.
All right, let's get to the next one that, whatever. Panthers Saints. Panthers 1-11, Saints 5-7. Obviously the Saints favored in this game 5.5. Over under is 38. Again, I don't know if I have to ask either on this one who's going to win the game, but
the Panthers.
Exactly. Right. Saints
and points.
Saints. Do you have them winning the division? They're only a game back at Atlanta Falcons. What do you think their chances are? They are at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to betting, behind Tampa Bay and Atlanta.
I think if Jameis Winston remains quarterback, they could win.
I said the same thing.
Honestly.
Sit car ass down.
Yeah. I mean, the Saints defense is pretty good, especially their pass defense. They're good. It's Derek Carr. It's their offense that leaves some to be desired. I don't even want to say a lot to be desired because they have shown glimpses.
Yes, they have.
And I honestly think Jameis Winston is a better fit for this team. I don't know if Derek Carr is a good fit anywhere, it seems.
Anyway,
I'm already mad at him anyways because his brother.
I know, right?
Because his brother.
The Carr family should just stay out of football.
Right.
But yeah, I clearly like the Saints winning this game, and I think the Saints do have a chance. That's why I was kind of thinking about your question earlier in the show, Sean, about the Falcons winning the division, because I think if anyone's going to give them trouble, it's going to be the Saints more so than I'm having a brain freeze right now.
Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. Saints are going to win this game. Alvin Kamara 59.5. Go ahead. I think he's going to have to run the ball a lot for them to have a chance.
Yep.
I'm going to go back to Miles Sanders, 24.5.
Oh, no.
That's easy, though. I mean, that's easy money. I mean,
Is
24.5.
What's he averaging? I feel like he does nothing.
He's averaging less. I'm going both him and Chuba.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's it. I know that's the spot. I guarantee Chuba gets it. It's whether or not Miles gets the carries.
Well, yeah, Hubbard's coming off of a big game.
yeah.
Well, you know what else
Somehow.
you bet with him?
Mm-hmm.
Adam Thielen, 52.5. He's the only guy that goes out there and suits up every single game. He's the only one I see fighting every single game. So I would go with Adam Thielen.
You know, I take it back already. I'm not doing Miles Sanders. I'm not doing it. What am I talking about? You know what I mean? I like Miles Sanders as a person, so I threw that out there. But sorry, Miles, I can't back you up. Chris Olave, though, 68.5. He's going to get the rock. He's going to have a big game. He's been having big games when they've had big games. Yep. And if Jameis is playing, yeah, well, it's going to be a lot of yards, maybe 2 interceptions.
But it's still going to be a lot of yards.
It's going to be a lot of yards. Listen, now we have Vikings-Raiders. Vikings 6-6, Raiders 5-7. Raiders fired their head coach, found a little magic juice, and immediately lost it. Okay? They won 2 in a row, then lost 2 in a row. To their credit, they lost to the Dolphins and Chiefs, 2 very good teams. But now they're back at it again, facing this team, the Minnesota Vikings, who we joked about it earlier. Josh Dobbs also had that magic juice that just went away. All right, so the Vikings are still favored in this game by 3. The over-under is 40.5. What do you do here, Dev?
The Raiders are another team, like the Ravens, that I feel like I've watched playing. Like it's been so long. I think Thanksgiving has my schedule all thrown off with the NFL.
Yeah.
That aside, I think I got to go with Josh Dobbs and the Vikings here, guys. Like I think that they're the better team. I think that they're playing for a little bit more than the Raiders at this point in the season. Raiders still have an interim coach. I think the Vikings just have more offensive weapons to get the ball to spread the ball around. So yeah, I like the Vikings winning and covering 3-point spread.
It's a tight one. What about you, B. Brooks?
I'm the same with that. just because the Vikings do have more to play for. You look at their division, the Lions.
Oh, and Justin Jefferson apparently might be back. Yeah,
he's back, and his over 65.5. Do you start off with him coming back like this and give 65.5?
I don't know. It's risky.
I am. I'm going with the 65.5 in receiving yards. I'm also going with T.J. Hawkins, tight end love, 46.5. It's tough for me to be anything when it comes to the Raiders, because, just like you said, the interim coach, I just don't know what you're going to get. And to me, to not go in with 68.5 for Devontae Adams is crazy because I don't know how that quarterback's going to play.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I just don't know. I know the rushing yards, Josh Jacobs, 72.5. Oh, I'm going with that because they're going to definitely hand it off to him. He's the focal point of their offense. But I just don't know how their quarterback play is going to be. So it's hard for me to even go with Devontae Adams, who's the best receiver in the NFL. But I can't go with him right now.
It's tough because I don't know what the quarterback situation is going to be either way. You saw what Josh Dobbs did in the last game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like lost the game, right? So, and Aiden O'Connell, I actually think has played pretty well in that spot. But
I think he forces it to Devontae, and that's why the offense doesn't run because it sputters because of that. Yeah,
but you look at the Raiders, you go, oh, they found their juice, they found their way back. Their 2 wins were against the Jets and the Giants. You know what I mean? Like, did they find their way back, or did they just beat teams that suck? And you knew they were going to beat those teams. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I like the Minnesota Vikings like y'all in this game. Also, again, Justin Jefferson, I'll go with the 65.5 also. I think Justin Jefferson gets his. Alexander Madison, another guy who's been a consistent guy for me. I'm going to go, it's 50.5. I'm going to go with him to get over that 50.5 and ball out and play well. And it's crazy. You look at Josh Jacobs, his house, 72.5. That was a guy who led the league in rushing last year that we just haven't talked about.
Yeah, yep.
Right? Like, he just hasn't been there. He hasn't been consistent, had some issues earlier in the year. He did have 110 yards in the last game, but then had 39 the game before that. Had 116 the game before that. right? So he's had moments of greatness and then followed it up with moments of not being good. It hasn't been consistent all year. So, again, I'm not loving the Raiders situation right here. I'm liking the Minnesota Vikings in this game also. Next game.
What about Jordan Addison, though?
Oh, you just want to jump to that next game, don't you?
You see me. What
What
about
Jordan Addison?
It's on the schedule.
I like Jordan Addison props. He's been very consistent.
Yes, he has been.
Yeah.
The whole time Justin Jefferson is out.
Let's talk about TJ Hawkinson.
So you look at y'all dragging it out. Do
you think the Vikings defense is going to blitz a lot?
I'll say this though. I will go and say something about the Jordan Addison. My thing is with Justin in the game, what does that do?
Well, that's why it's only 33.5.
When Cooper got back, Puka was nowhere to be found.
Right.
And Jordan Addison also sold me the bet last week, so I'm just not sure how that's gonna go.
Yeah, he did mess up a parlay.
Yeah, especially you know what I mean. Especially if and the parlay was 40. His over under last week was 40 yards, and he got 39.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I remember about it. I was pissed off. 39.
Like I remember.
I never forget. So with Justin Jefferson getting back, doesn't it go lower? And if you think Josh Dobbs has fell off a cliff.
Well, I mean, we haven't seen
It's
Justin Jefferson play with Dobbs yet, so we don't know, how they vibe together, how they click. I think regardless, Justin Jefferson, whether he hits that over or not in yardage, like he's going to provide a spark to this Vikings team coming back. So that's why I like them to win. I mean, sure, if you force me to make a choice, I'd take over 65.
Yeah, 65 for Jay Jefferson.
Why not?
Yeah. All right, let's get to it. I know y'all trying to avoid it. Niners Seahawks. Niners 9-3, Seahawks 6-6. Niners favoring this game. It was 10.5. Is it 11 now? So 11 points over under 46.5. Barrett, start with you. Say your piece, sir. Reluctantly.
I mean, we're talking about 11 points. I mean, this Seahawks team almost beat Dallas. So I think 11 is pretty steep. And just off of pure hate, please don't worry about any of this betting that I'm about to say when it comes to 49ers. No, I'm just playing. I wasn't going to say. But no, I think this 49ers team they had their Super Bowl. They played at a high level. Can they go out there and duplicate what they did this last game?
Right.
It's going to be tough for them. It's going to be real tough for them. So when I look at it, 11 points is a lot, man, and it's a division game. They always play the 49ers tough. I think they're going to win the ball, but I'm not going with the points.
Okay.
They're going to win the game. But I'm going with the points.
Def?
Yeah, it's a really, really big point spread. I mean, the Seahawks kind of they could have beat the Cowboys and then just decided to not do anything with Micah Parsons at the end of the game. You have to imagine that they're kind of still reeling from that. And also the Niners coming off their personal Super Bowl, there is a drop off after that, I feel, where you're hyping yourself up for this game all season long. And then it's over. You get the win. That's great. But then oh crap, we have to keep playing football. So, I just don't know if the motivation is going to still be there for the Niners. So maybe it's a closer game and I could see Seattle covering that 10.5 point spread. So I'll go with that.
Folks just don't learn their lesson. They just don't. It wasn't their personal Super Bowl. That's just the ass whooping they give everybody. Let me read
the
y'all.
ass whooping they gave the three teams who they lost to in a row.
When they weren't healthy. They're healthy now.
Okay,
so let me read out their
weren't
stats.
Healthy last week.
Stop it. The Eagles were plenty
They
healthy.
had backup linebackers.
They had plenty. The 49ers had backup safeties. They're all pro safeties out. It don't matter. That ass whooping still happened. Okay. Let me read y'all. 11 point spread. 11 point spread. Let me read y'all the 49ers win so far this year real quick. 30-7, 30-23, 30-12, 35-16, 42-10, 34-3, 27-14, 31-13, 42-19. In their 9 wins, 8 times, it was not only double digits, but higher than 11. When the 49ers beat you, they beat your ass. So if you believe they're going to play well and win this game, believe them to beat the team they beat at Seattle 2 weeks ago, 31-13. So yes, if you're going by the odds and going by what they normally do, and I get it, it's a Seattle Seahawks, it's a divisional game. So in divisional games, it's going to be a little bit tighter. Seattle's going to want some get back from 2 weeks ago. But when the 49ers are clicking in all cylinders and they're playing their A-level ball, they've won every game by at least 13 points with the exception of one game earlier this year, which was 7, which was a backdoor cover because the team hit a field goal late. So I think the 49ers cover because that's what they've done all year long in their wins.
And this will be their second time doing it because this is a totally different team than they played 2 or 3 weeks ago. I mean, even Jackson Smith, Njoku, he wasn't playing then. Now, with him, with Tyler Lockett, 50.5, I'm going with that. I'm going with 60.5 for DK Metcalf. You know, and the mere fact that they're running the ball the way they're running the ball, I'm definitely going with them not being able to beat them by 11 points. Yeah, yes, the 49ers are going to win. But I'm going with the Seahawks covering.
Okay. We're also talking about a Seahawks team that, like we talking about cars, their brakes fell off. They've lost their last 3 games. All right? They were firmly in position.
They lost their last 3 games like the 49ers lost 3 games in the middle of the season?
Yeah, but they lost 3 games being healthy.
I mean, it still doesn't mean what makes you think they're going to
what makes you think they're going to pounce back?
Because they almost beat the Cowboys. They're still a decent team. If they were playing at home, we'd have more of a case that they could cover. Yeah. That's because we know that they have a
I'm still saying they're not going to cover.
The 49ers beat the Cowboys 42-10. It means nothing that they beat the Cowboys.
No offense, 16.5.
Okay.
Easy bet.
Okay.
Easy bet.
Okay. Lessons have been learned. I get it. And again, Trent Williams for MVP.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about MVPs later, but says no one. He's 9-0 in the season. Every game he's played, he's won. No, I get it. I get it.
Bro, but did you see how Lane Johnson
yes.
whooped your boy's ass?
He didn't whoop Bosa.
Oh my!
He always does. Bosa never does anything against the Eagles. Every single time they play, he never does anything because Lane Johnson is so good.
Nick Bosa and Barrett, you know this. Nick Bosa and Chase Young played their lanes. They bull rushed every time just so and close the gap. They didn't try to get the sacks. They didn't try to make a move to get out of their lane. They want to close that lane so he had nowhere to go. It was the game plan not to get out of pocket to go for sacks.
Bro.
Was it not? Did it not look like that was their game plan not to get out of pocket, get out of sacks? And that made Jalen Hurts hold the ball. I never
explain that to anybody, bro. So why you just
see? I got you. Don't think I don't know, Barrett. Don't think I don't know.
But yeah, man. But by design, that's how you stop Jalen. You must rush him. You keep him inside the pocket.
You don't play hero ball and try to get sacks. So they Chase Young and Nick Young and Nick Bosa did their job and they did it greatly.
But Lane Johnson still whooped his ass though.
Okay, see, I mean you admitted to the mush rush, but you know. Okay, let's get to the breakdown of the Bills Chiefs. Chiefs, another team. Park the car, you drive away, oil's leaking. Big old stain in your driveway.
Sticking with the car
the big oil it's all show, Devin.
But they both,
big old stain.
They both like that.
Yeah, and the Bills in a must-win situation. Over under 40.5. Chiefs favored by a game and a half. Dev, what are you thinking in this game?
I don't know.
I'm with you.
It's going to be a good game. I'm excited to watch a probably stressful game that doesn't involve my team for once. It feels like it's been far too long. I think the Bills tend to lose when Josh Allen makes mistakes, when he turns the ball over. I think Kansas City's bright spot this season has been their defense. Mm-hmm. You know, surprisingly, just because their offense has been so dominant, for seasons and seasons. And it's weird to see Patrick Mahomes not just like completely dominating the league for once. But I think because of that, if Kansas City's defense can force Josh Allen to make mistakes, to take the ball away, it's hard to see the Chiefs losing 2 in a row, especially coming off a loss to the Packers.
Yep.
So I'm going to go with the Chiefs winning. It's going to be a good game, though.
Yeah. What you got, baby?
I'm going with the Chiefs also. It's kind of crazy. Both Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, 33.5 and 32.5 rushing. So these guys have been running outside the pocket trying to make plays because the lack of production out of everybody else around. Stephon Diggs, 73.5. I'm going to go with the over. Travis Kelce, 70.5. I'm going to go with the over, both receiving yards. But I mean, it's hard for me to find a real, a real target, bet for this game besides, the Chiefs winning this game. I mean, even, Dalton Kincaid, I love my tight ends, but 37.5, I don't know if he can do it against this defense.
I like Isaiah Pacheco. I don't know his rushing yards total right now. But the Bills defense does seem to be susceptible to running backs. And
yeah, they are.
Pacheco's when they played the Eagles, it looked like he was just unstoppable. He just
Running hard,
finds a
yes.
way to get through to find those holes. So I like his over.
Man, he had 110 yards last week.
Yeah.
Six yards per.
Yeah.
So him, Travis Kelce are the only weapons that they really have. So they're trying to look for ways just to get those guys the ball. But again, Pat Mahomes only threw for 210 last week.
Yeah.
You wouldn't ever thought. I don't know if I've ever thought I would say this in regards to Pat, but he's struggling, and it's because his wide receivers stink.
Yeah. I
mean, right? Like he doesn't
Rice.
have Rashid Rice, a nice young rookie, but he doesn't have game breakers anywhere on the outside.
Nope.
So they're like, all right, methodical, go all the way up and down. Make sure you don't have any mistakes, and they're having a hard time doing that because they don't have any wide receivers that can blow the doors off. Meanwhile, Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Offensively, they played well, right? Against the Eagles, they played well. Again, he's definitely going to get over on his rushing props, go over 40 as far as I'm concerned, because I think he's going to get out the pocket and be able to do some things. But I don't know who I pick in this game.
I know.
I honestly don't. It can go either way. There's a bunch of props I like in regards to Travis Kelce over 50. I like doing the alternative over 50s. Travis Kelce over 50. Isaiah Pacheco over 75. I like those a lot, but in regards to who's actually going to win this game, to me, this is my toughest pick of the week.
Yeah.
Because you don't think Kansas City's going to lose again, back-to-back.
Right.
But they're not even good right now. Like, defensively, they're great, but that offense can't do it. The Green Bay Packers absolutely shredded this squad. So, I'm be honest, I'm leaning towards the Bills as I talk. But I don't. I don't feel confident
you're almost
about
convincing me that the Bills can win. So I don't know. But also Kansas City playing at home. We know that they have home field advantage playing at Arrowhead because it gets so loud in there.
It's loud.
Yeah,
it is a tough one.
Before we get on to the next game, go back to the Kansas City Chiefs Buffalo Bills game. One thing we didn't mention is Isaiah Pacheco potentially not playing.
Yeah, so ignore everything I said about taking his over rush yards.
Yeah.
That's my bad. I didn't see he got in a fight. Yeah. Was it with the security guard?
Leave my dog out there. Leave Big Dom out
Big
there.
Dom.
No disrespect to Big Dom.
Yeah, that's
Well, let me ask y'all this since y'all brought it up because we forgot to bring that up. My personal opinion on that entire situation is let him play.
Right.
Nobody should have been kicked out, in my opinion.
Nope.
Big Dom's gave him a little get off of my man, and he goes, "Yo, that's some bull." Then Dre Greenlaw goes like this, gives a point.
See, I think that
him.
it was that I don't know if I fully think that he should he kind of punched someone on the sideline.
Yeah, but it was clear that he meant to do this, but didn't mean to connect. Because if he wanted to punch, he would have threw a punch, right? But either way, if a player is on the field and a guy touches him, they punch each other and smack each other in the helmet all the time.
Yeah.
It just happened to be somebody that wasn't a staffer.
Right.
But in my opinion, I'm like, you throwing people out for that?
Yeah.
Don't throw out Dre Greenlaw and let Dom talk his trash.
Right.
It's better for the game. Like, to me, why are you throwing anybody out? Nobody should be fined. Nobody should be thrown out. I would have been like, play on. And good job to you, Dom.
Yeah.
Right? Good job to you.
What happened with Shaq and the last game that that he went and punched a fan in Philly? Whatever happened with that?
Who?
I don't know.
Oh,
Shaq,
wasn't it Jordan Phillips?
Buffalo.
Jordan Phillips, wasn't it?
No. It was Buffalo. Shaq Lawson.
Shaq Lawson, but I think Jordan Phillips was the one that threw the punch. No,
I thought Shaq
or pushed
did.
him. No,
I thought Shaq
there was no fine, which I'm baffled by.
Right.
At least it's being reported there was no fine. That should have been a fine.
Well, so that's kind of the same thing what happened there. I mean, to me, he's a team official. To me, he's like a doctor for the team. To me, he's like an advisor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people don't understand it. Half the players that they bring to the Eagles, they got to go through Dom first.
Yeah.
They got to pass his protocol before they even get in there. So, I mean, to me, it's just like him being a team official. So to me, he shouldn't have been.
Kevin is saying that Greenlaw was pointing at Devontae. I don't think he was pointing.
No, he wasn't pointing.
Yeah, no, I don't think he was pointing.
He did the trigger. He was trying to do the trigger finger. He was trying to go.
Oh,
like
okay.
that, and
there was definitely
him. Like there was this. He tried to do the trigger finger, like
he did this,
like I will pop you or whatever. Like he was trying to do the trigger finger and he connected, but either way, it's like.
No, I agree. I think it was blown up into just like I thought it was ridiculous that they were like kind of holding up the game, and then the 49ers were like, well, Dom has to go too if you're gonna kick Greenlaw out. It's just
to be fair, I would have said the same thing.
I probably would have.
If you're gonna throw my guy out, then
too.
your guy got to go out.
Yeah.
And I think they honestly, I think the refs look back and go, we probably shouldn't have thrown Dre out, but since we did, we probably have to throw Dom out. Like I think the refs was kind of like, we may have overreacted.
Yeah.
But now we have to throw them both out, even if we shouldn't have thrown either of them out.
Yeah, it was just ridiculous.
Drake Greenlaw, that's just who he is. Remember last year when they played him in the championship game?
He's violent.
He was trying to punch. He was punching them guys. Track like he's punching the ball.
There's a gigantic dancing bee behind you.
Whole lot of randomness in these streets right now.
Right. Sorry, there's just like Barrett's talking. There's a mascot.
Right, and you're looking straight at it, so we're like, oh goodness. But anyway, we went off with a tangent. All that to say, I'm picking the Buffalo Bills. I said I was on the fence before if Isaiah Pacheco ain't playing. I know Jerry McKinney can ball, but
yeah, I mean, if Pacheco doesn't play, that really is a game changer. I might have to switch and take the Bills too.
No, I'm staying with them.
With the Chiefs?
Yeah, I'm staying with them.
It's a tough one. All right, Broncos, Chargers. Chargers, the disappointment of the league, and the Broncos, they won 5 straight. They're in the playoff hunt, and they're still in the playoff hunt, but they lost last week. Chargers favored in this game by 3 over under 44. Dev, start with you. What you think?
Chargers defense shut out a team last week, so that's exciting for them. Congrats. But I know the Broncos had their winning streak snapped to the Texans. I just think that the Broncos are a better team here. I'm surprised that they're not favored, honestly. Like how I know it's a small spread, but still 3 points. Like I think the Broncos will win it and cover that spread for sure.
Yeah. What about you, B. Brooks?
I'm still going with the Broncos, even though they're underdogs. They're playing in LA. I just like. I like the fact that that defense is starting to get into their own, play into their own, and because of that, I think they can shut that Chargers team out. But then in saying that, who's been able to stop Keenan Allen? There's been nobody to stop Keenan Allen, so that's why over on receiving yards 84.5. It's hard for me not to go with that, but I'm gonna stick with my guns and go with the Broncos, and I'm gonna also go with Jerry Jeudy 44.5, Courtland Sutton 56.5. I'm going with him.
Yeah, I'm going Broncos. They just play better football right now.
I'm just looking at the box score from the Chargers-Patriots game. Like, I'm sorry, 6-0. 6-0. Like, that can't be real.
Yeah.
They literally put up 6 points, and it was in one quarter.
Yeah.
In one quarter.
Yeah, at halftime, I want to bet on that. At halftime, I chose the under.
The box score just looks totally ridiculous.
At halftime, I think the under was only like 22. I was like, I'm going to go under. It's like 3-0 right now. That's what I'm going to bet.
But their defense shut the Pats out. So congrats to them.
Yeah, it's the Pats. So Broncos all the way on this. The
Yeah.
Chargers seem broken.
How are the Chargers favorites, though?
At home.
Yeah, you get three. Just
I'm with you. The Broncos should be favored anyway.
Yeah.
In this game, the Broncos are just playing a lot better football right now. I like Javonte Williams over 62.5. I think he's gonna get the rock. I think he's gonna do work. Russell Wilson's gonna have a nice game on here again. I know Chargers defense played well. That was last week with scrubs.
Yep.
So I like a lot of those props. Also, I can see Austin Eckler for the Chargers also going for 50 yards in this game. His covers 49.5. I see him getting a rock a lot also. So I'm going with the 2 running backs from both sides in this game. I don't think it'll be a high scoring game. It'll be good defense. It'll be something like 23-17, but I like the Broncos in this game. Let's go to the big game. Game of the week, the game to talk about. Eagles-Cowboys. Eagles 10-2, traveling to Jerry World. Cowboys 9-3. Cowboys, trying to win this game so they can win the division. The Eagles, if the Eagles win this game, not only are they going to win the division, but they're probably going to have home field advantage based on their schedule, right? Mm-hmm. Again, still got to win all your games throughout, but it's looking bright and shiny after this game for the Philadelphia Eagles. So huge game for both of these teams. The Dallas Cowboys actually favored in this game, 3.5. Second week in a row, the Eagles have a better record, but they're not favored in the game. The over-under is a lot of points, 52. Barrett Brooks, start with you.
It's going to be tough, man, because, even as far as looking at receiving yards, CeeDee Lamb, 90.5. Are you kidding me? 90.5? Well, the reason why, because he had 191 in the last game they played. We couldn't stop anybody in the middle of the field. They played in the slot. Looking at Jake Ferguson, 43.5. He had 71 yards against this Eagles team, my Eagles team, the last time they played. Dallas Goedert being back. That's favorable to us. 34.5 yards receiving. I'm going with that. DeAndre Swift in receiving yards, 15.5. I'm going to go with that because they're going to run some screens. It's all about their rushing yards at this point and how they go about doing that. And then, because when I look at Swift, 49.5, he gets over 50. So I'm going with that. Jalen Hurts, over 40. They're going to implement more running, read options. He'll get over 40.5. Prescott, 14.5. He's going to be running for his life, so I'm going to go with the over 14.5 with that also.
So what's your analysis on the game, though? Who do you think is going to win? Or how do you think it's going to go?
I just think that we're getting close to the end of the season. And because my Birds got their butts kicked this last game, they went back, licked their wounds. Like I said, went and got a fresh oil change, got a great tune-up, and come back, and you're going to play a more consistent game. So I'm going with I'm going with the Eagles right now, and I'm going with the over as far as points also.
Okay. Deb, what you thinking?
It's going to be a tough one. I can't really, argue that the Eagles can win and cover. I do like over for props. I like DeAndre Swift over his rush yards. I like Jalen Hurts over 40.5 on the ground.
Does DeAndre get the rock? That's the question.
Well, he better. Yeah. There were fans standing outside the Eagles practice facility with a sign that said "Run the ball." So yeah. I hope that the coaching staff, saw it and took note, and they indeed, give the rock to both DeAndre Swift and Kenny Gainwell. Mm-hmm. It's not like the Eagles don't have guys who can run the ball.
Yeah, they do.
Exactly.
Very frustrating. I think especially against this Dallas defense, it's you want to go with the safer option. You want to manage the game. You want to manage the clock. You need to run the ball. Like, it was so infuriating watching them. They run it for 46 yards. Right. 46 yards against the Niners.
Come on now.
Just insanity. So I think that they are going. I totally agree with Barrett. They're getting an oil change, whatever car reference you want to throw in there.
Reprogram the brains of the car.
Yeah, and they're gonna want to bounce back and get a win. But on the other side of the ball, Dallas is still feeling slighted from their tough loss in Philadelphia, and they're gonna want revenge. And they haven't lost at home. They've won 14 straight games down there in Jerry World. So it's gonna be a tough one. I think the Eagles can, if they come in and are tuned up and improved on both sides of the ball, they can win. I think it's gonna be a close game. Yeah, that's all I got to say on that.
This is despite popular belief, I want the Eagles to win because I cover Philadelphia teams and it's better when they're winning. Right? You go longer. I get to cover, get to have fun, and I've been in the locker room and talked to a bunch of those guys that I like, that I stop and talk to this day. So, but I'm worried. The thing that's most alarming to me is their last and third down conversion defensively. Mm-hmm. Dog. You can't win games like that. Like, the 49ers went 8 for 11 on third downs against them. Mm-hmm. You can't win games like that. That is horrific. The week before was 13 for 22, but they still got the win against Buffalo. That is scary. And the Dallas Cowboys, anything they can do, they can put up points. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, I think it's another situation. Again, I'm going over to 52. Mm-hmm. It's going to be in the 30s. And it's going to be similar in the last game is whether can the Dallas Cowboys convert in big moments or not? Is Dak going to turn into Dak and do Dak things and not be able to be clutch? Because Jalen's going to be clutch. Right? So it's going to be that type of situation once again. And again, a lot of points. CeeDee Lamb had over 90 in this game. I think he gets 90. I'm not comfortable. I usually pick Devontae Smith. For some reason, Devontae and Dallas don't.
Well, Devontae gets a lot. Well, do you mean Dallas Goedert or?
Dallas Goedert, excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah. When they're both playing, Devontae doesn't get his. And I know Dallas is just coming back, but it's a weird dynamic where it's just like, no, I'll pick Dallas in this game. Mm-hmm. But now I'm staying away from Devontae. It's you know what I mean?
I also think it depends on who's. I mean, Barrett can probably speak to this better than I can, but like who's covered. Like when Dallas is in, he pulls away coverage. I would assume like AJ's always going to be covered. Mm-hmm. Doubled, and then Devontae and Dallas. I feel like Devontae gets a lot more looks when Dallas is out because he is to step up. I don't know. Yeah, it is weird. It is weird. It's also very confusing that we have a player named Dallas and they're playing in Dallas every time. Exactly. I'm like, what Dallas are you talking about?
You like, what do you? Yeah. I get how that was in my mind. Like I said, Dallas. Yeah. So, but again, I'll still go with Devontae getting his, even though that makes me nervous. I'm gonna go with AJ getting his. I'm gonna go. It's one of those games where I think betting wise and props wise, you're gonna get off in this game when it comes to overs. I'm gonna avoid the running back props because I don't know if DeAndre is gonna get the rock, and I know.
See, I think that Nick Sirianni and this Eagles team do adjust, and they did. Like Nick Sirianni said he hears the fans calling to run the ball. You look back to the 21 season, fans were asking the same thing. It was actually after a Dallas game. I think the Eagles ran the ball like 2 times, and we're all like, run the ball. And what'd they do after that? Nick Sirianni gave a speech about fertilizer, and it somehow worked. And they started winning, and they started running the ball a lot more. Yeah, so I think
it was against Detroit. I think.
So the speech wasn't right after Dallas.
It was after the Raiders.
I think it was the Raiders.
Yep.
But remember, they had I think it was a Monday night loss to Dallas in Dallas. It was really bad.
Run the ball.
It was really bad.
And a random bet. I gotta look it up and see what it may cost you, but I have both quarterbacks throwing an interception. Dak Prescott will throw an interception in a big time game against a clutch team. He'll do that. Jalen Hurts had some turnover problems so far this season, so I'm gonna.
But see, I think they don't want they want to keep it away from Deron Bland and that defense. Like that's why I think they're gonna actually run it more.
Yeah, but I still think he'll throw it somewhere. Because it's going to be an up and down game. So maybe they do run more.
But an interception.
It's going to pass it. But I think they both do. I think it's going to be offsetting type of style. But I think they both. Dak will throw an interception in the clutch. Jalen Hurts has been turnover. I don't want to say prone, but he's given up a lot of turnovers so far this year, whether it's interception or fumble. So that's just a random bet. You know, the odds are always great when it comes to interceptions. And that could be a nice little money bag to double up. But again, during the break, I'll see what that would actually cost you. But I think that would be a decent bet to have. All right, when we come back, we're going to look at the overall picture. Super Bowl odds, Super Bowl matchup odds, divisional winning odds, along with some of our best bets. All right, Devan Kaney, Sean Bell, Barrett Brooks. This is a Sunday Spread.